There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up? Welcome into episode number 97, Patrick.
That's right.
Episode number 97 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you by Patrick Hertzberger. A short crew this week, folks. The Program Guys were all international this week, and we're all in different areas right now, and this is just who's back stateside currently. So this is what we got for the people, okay? We may be having a guest appearance from Mark Hall in a little bit, so stick with us. But be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. And you can follow us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z. You can follow us at programguys.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us. Patrick, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Also, special sponsor alert. This episode is sponsored by our friends at the Fan Stop. The link is in the description. You can go to their website right now and get 15% off their Shirt of the Month Club for the first 3 months, or 15% off their licensed game day polo. So if you need a new Oklahoma game day polo, you should go to their store right now. Link is in the description and use our promo code. But dude, I'm feeling great. It was so good to see everyone this past week.
It's great.
Oklahoma Sooners had an awesome game. I know that me and you weren't able to join the post-game pod. So do you have any thoughts on that West Virginia game before we jump into BYU?
Man, I just thought it was a really, really good game for OU. I thought they played very well. I thought Dylan didn't look great, but he still had a great game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like he definitely didn't look crisp to start the game. I thought he had a lot of weird underthrows and just not very accurate at times. And that was weird. People who are Dylan haters will say, that's not weird. That's the guy he is. But I mean, I thought it was weird. It was kind of uncharacteristic at times, but you know, they got it together and he ran the ball well and the team looked really good. They ran the ball effectively from what I felt like. Drake Stoops' legacy game, what a stud. And the defense looked great, man. They allowed an opening drive touchdown and then like what the rest of the time, like nothing. They looked fantastic. So yeah, I was really happy with how they looked.
Yeah, same. I thought we were going to head into the shootout just the way the game, or the way Dylan was playing at the beginning of the game, how the beginning of the game was going. And then we really just played great after that, after the first few drives, right? And Gavin Sawchuk broke out, which is something that we were hoping for, needing, and I finally feel like we have that RB1 moving forward, and I hope he continues to be that RB1 for us. And we don't have like these 4 rotational running backs that we've been
I
having.
know, dude.
Third down stops again looked awesome. Another goal line stop. It just, the defense continues.
The goal line
to
stop
me.
was hot, dude. The goal line stop was really hot. That was awesome.
Yeah,
dude, they're making a habit out of it. It's crazy. It's getting to the point now where like a team gets down towards the goal line, and I don't feel like it's a guarantee that they're gonna score. Like there's a large part of me that sees them do that, and I go, we could probably stop them right here. Even when they're at the 1 for 4 plays. It's crazy, dude. It's nuts. And haven't felt like that about an OU defense in, oh my God, at least 10 years in my eye. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And it's weird too, just from a clock management standpoint, because in the past I was like, I'll just let them score and we'll go score one right after too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But now it's just like, no, we'll hold them to 3. You know, we'll hold them to 3 points. And we do that. It's awesome.
Sick. It's sick. Guess we'll move on to a little bit of the preview for BYU. It's a big game for OU. BYU comes in struggling. They're at the bottom of the Big 12 with a lot of the other newcomers to the Big 12. A lot of drama regarding tiebreaker clarifications and conspiracy theorists thinking OU's getting hosed and all of this stuff. Well, in reality, none of the conspiracy theory is going to matter if you just win games. So win games, yeah, you need some help, right? So like the easiest the easiest path for OU, I think, is for OU to win out and Texas loses against Iowa State this weekend. And that gets you in if you win out. If Texas doesn't lose, then it gets a lot more convoluted. And you would need like OSU to lose against Houston or somebody else. And then you need Kansas State to lose to Iowa State. It gets messy. So like the easiest path for Oklahoma is to win out and Texas loses to Iowa State.
Yeah.
And that's what works in OU's favor. But I mean, do you have any thoughts on the clarification change or whatever? I don't know, man. I think it's a product of the Big 12 just being dumb and bad at being a conference. Whereas like this is something that easily could have been solved if they split the conference into divisions and just made everybody play everyone in their own division like it used to be in the Big 12. And then you don't have to worry about all this other BS. Go ahead.
It's an absolute joke to say that you are clarifying a rule, but then you're actually adding a rule to it. And Mark Hall, our guest appearance guy, is connecting to audio.
He's connecting.
And I know he's going to have a lot of thoughts on this. Mark is currently at an airport connecting home.
He's trying to.
He's trying to connect.
Yeah. Mark, are you there yet?
Yeah, Mark, you there?
He's still connected.
He's still connected.
He's there.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. We're freaking live, dude.
We're
live.
Dude. Okay, Mark. So hop in here. We've just started, by the way. We're not too deep into it. We gave West Virginia thoughts, and now we're here discussing the clarification / unclarification of the Big 12 tiebreaker scenario, basically saying OU needs to win out and Texas needs to lose to Iowa State. And that's like the easiest path to a fireball hat is coming on.
Baby.
And that's just kind of where we're at. And just your thoughts on the clarification of the rule, any conspiracy theorists in your blood for this at all?
No, so I actually think I think it's two things can be true, right? One, this is the way it is supposed to work. Like I think that this makes sense as a final way to do it. And two, it's incompetent that we had to get to this point in the season before they realized the mistake that they were making. Maybe if we had a commissioner in the Big 12 that was more worried about making sure rules are written correctly and everyone understands them. Maybe if he was more worried on that than WWE licensing and games in foreign countries that won't ever happen, the Big 12 would be on top of this shit before right now. That's what my biggest takeaway was just weak stuff to me that it even got to this point.
Yeah, Patrick, go ahead and hop in there.
Yeah, totally agree. While we are talking about the Big 12, though, the Fan Stop who's sponsoring this podcast right now has pretty much every Big 12 school. I'm pretty sure they have every Big 12 school. So if you need a game day polo from your Big 12 school, well, you're also upset about this clarification, most likely, go get it right now. Use our promo code PGUYZ for 15% off that game day polo or 15% off their Shirt of the Month Club for the first 3 months. Kansas State guys, they're the ones that are getting hosed by this more than anyone.
Yeah.
And if I were a Kansas State fan, I would be really mad right now. But agree, Mason, with what you said. Just win out and you don't have to worry about any of this. Hopefully the odds turn into our favor. But right now it's not looking great. It's looking okay, but we need other things to happen. We're dependent on other games.
Look, and it's never fun to not control your own destiny, right? It's not a good time. You hate having to rely on other people to lose and you to win, but also OSU looked awful against UCF. And I know that they're playing a bad Houston team. They're playing a bad one. But man, if they played against Houston like they did against UCF, it's not a foregone conclusion that OSU's winning that game this week. And that's a whole nother aspect of it. You know what I mean? And the the scenarios are all laid out. There's like a website you can go to play around and figure out what exactly needs to happen. But in my mind, the easiest thing for me to comprehend is Texas loses to Iowa State and Oklahoma wins out. Oklahoma's in the Big 12 title game. Point blank, period, end of discussion. So we got to win games to get there, right? Anybody, and I'll open it back up. Anyone else final points on this before we move on to the BYU talk?
That was the game that I wanted to bring up, was just the Texas Iowa State. Texas going to Ames at night for the last game at Iowa State. Obviously, like, Iowa State's a 6-4 team. You know, you can't count on anything in either direction there. But Matt Campbell generally gets his guys ready to play this team. They are 4-5. Iowa State is 4-5 of their last, 4 of their last 5 at home against Texas. So there's like a record of this team doing well against the visiting Longhorns. Who knows? I'm sure the spread for this game is like 1,000. I have been out of the country, so I don't know what it is, but you know, I'm sure the Texans is rightfully favored, but watch for the fight in Matt Campbell's perhaps.
Yeah, and keep in mind, folks, Texas coming off a close loss to or a close win to Kansas State, and then a close win to TCU where they blew like a 23-point lead. And TCU is fighting to get the ball back at the end of the game to go drive and win the game. Like, Texas is reeling kind of right now too. So again, another not foregone conclusion that they're going to go up to Ames, Iowa and just walk over a 6-4 Iowa State team. So it's interesting.
While we're on Texas, did y'all discuss at all the Quinn Ewers?
No,
not yet
this week.
No.
All right, so there's a report this week that Quinn Ewers is heavily leaning towards staying at the University of Texas this offseason. That is damning. That is damning to Steve Sarkisian's development at the quarterback position. If Quinn was that good, he would be leaving. And if Arch Manning was that good, Sark would be pushing Quinn out on both fronts. This is not
good at all. He's on the airport Wi-Fi, folks. So bear with Mark Hall. He's got to do what he's got to do. But yeah, Pat, anything on the Texas quarterback situation?
Yeah,
I think
Quinn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Quinn looked a little rough against TCU. He's definitely coming back from injury. It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back against a good Iowa State defense. But he needs another year to be, you know, a potential top 5 draft pick, which he could not easily, but he could do next year if he has a great season. And one more year in college football, especially with the NIL benefits that he's going to have, is definitely a good move for him, in my opinion. Yeah,
and people were talking about him at the beginning of the year that he was one of the top 3 quarterbacks in all of college football, like that was going to be drafted next year. So for a fall off from grace like this it's quite odd for Quinn, and especially a Texas quarterback. So I don't know, man. I think it says a lot about Quinn Ewers. I think it says a lot more about what they think they have in Arch Manning. And I think the guy who's starting now, Malik Murphy, was starting, I guess I should say, he's gone. There's no reason for him to stay at Texas.
If I'm Malik, I'm gone. Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah, he'll bail out. And he'll start for somebody good. Somebody good will grab him for sure. All right, so I'll check my text because I'm pretty sure Mark texted us. Oh man, I think his laptop died. I think that's what it was. But okay, so Oklahoma, 10 a.m. local time kickoff against BYU, their first and only conference game in Provo, Utah. Right? They're Provo.
Yeah, first time we're in Provo, Utah. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't remember if BYU was in Provo or like Salt Lake City or something.
Got it.
But I think it's weird. I mean, for OU, I don't feel as though it's as big of a deterrent, but 10 a.m. local time kickoff is weird, man. That's just a weird thing that you're going to deal with on the Mountain Time Zone like this. So, Pat, what are your overall thoughts on this game just as we head into this?
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is it's still 11 a.m. Oklahoma time, right? It doesn't change too much. It's just
And
an
good Lord,
hour.
are we used to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Used to that.
You're used to the 11 a.m. kickoffs. Yeah, BYU obviously struggling with a quarterback situation currently. They haven't looked good in a few weeks. I don't think this should be a difficult game for OU to win. However, because they dropped off so badly against Iowa State, and because we are that school coming in, we are Oklahoma. This is probably one of the biggest visitors that they've had in a very long time, since probably beating Texas at home. This is a big game for them that they can easily get up for, and we're going to get the best BYU team we're going to get the best game that they've played this year against us. I fully am anticipating that, but this should be a game we clearly win. Those are my overall thoughts.
No, yeah, I think this is a game that you shouldn't be able to, because really at this point, like, right, you don't expect to, I feel like we can't expect to blow out any team in the current era of Oklahoma football that we are. But in the Oklahoma football of old, this is a team that you blow out and they don't have a shot from the opening kick. But it'll be interesting to see what OU team shows up. Is it the OU team that kind of sleptwalked against Oklahoma State and allowed them to stay in the game and eventually lost? Or is it the team against West Virginia that came out and put their foot on their throat from the jump? Like, which OU team will we see? I tend to think it'll be the team that played against West Virginia, because this team knows what's ahead of them and they know what's at stake. They know that if they win these last two games, they have a shot to do something really, really important and win their final conference title, or at least be in the game. So they know what's ahead of them. I know that they're going to take it one game at a time, and that's what they're going to preach, and they should. But this is just the next game to get to the next game. And they need to go hard in the paint, get up early, slit their throat in Utah, respectfully, and then be ready to go for TCU on a weird Friday game next. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, this is a BYU team that started the year 5-2 before their current 3-game losing streak. Starting quarterback Keaton Slovis has missed the last 2, and the backup has thrown a couple picks and nothing good for them. Basically, their MVP linebacker Ben Bywater, who I called the non-OU Defensive Player of the Year in the preseason. That was my prediction. Out for the rest of the season. This is a team that is reeling. This is a team that is truly reeling. They scored 13 points last week. They didn't convert a third down after the first quarter. This is just like last week was also. I expect this to be a get-right opportunity for the physicality and the mentality of Brent Venables' Oklahoma Sooners team.
100%. A little look-see here. We'll start with OU's offense against BYU's defense. BYU comes in the 13th ranked total defense in the Big 12. Out of 14 teams, they allow 414 yards per game. Oklahoma is the number 1 ranked offense in the Big 12, 505 yards per game. So that's a massive mismatch. As Mark mentioned, the injuries playing a key part to that as well. But you need to be able to assert your will, assert your dominance. Run the ball with Gavin Sawchuk like we talked about, Pat, how we talked about on the post-game pod with the guys. Mark, shout out to you guys for knocking that out, by the way. You're here, so we're going to tell you on air. Thanks for knocking that out. Check that out if you haven't on our YouTube channel, by the way. But yeah, you're going to need to assert your dominance, assert it early. I feel like this is a time where you can really run the ball on the road, use the run game to get comfortable and get into your offensive rhythm. I feel like this offense run, when we go up tempo, right? That's what everybody wants to talk about, the up tempo. And the passing game is a part of that. I feel as though the up tempo works the best when the running game is running for 7 yards a carry, because that defense can't recover. When you're trying to like run up field and plug a gap and you're overrunning a guy and then immediately having to reset and, oh, now I have to drop back in coverage. That's when Jeff Levy gets these guys on their heels. And that's when you can take advantage of it. So I think the running game is going to be so big in setting up everything else. And I know I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm sure everybody knows that. Mark, what do you got?
Just that I think last week was a bit more of the recipe that we need to see moving forward. We don't need to play as much with the lateral movement, the horizontal that was just the basis of the offense early in the season. The jet, I mean, even as recently as 2 weeks ago, right? Jet sweeps, reverses. We don't need to see nearly as much of that. Let's get the ball in Drake Stoops' hands. Let's get the ball in Nick Anderson's hands. Let's get the ball in Jaleel Fruit's hands. And let's run the stinking football. We had 5 carries go over 20 yards last week.
Yeah.
That's by far our best running game on the season. And on the other side, I mean, on the passing side of it, Dylan obviously has 8 touchdowns of his own. So last week, we saw the recipe come together. I'd love to see, who I want to see is Jaquez Petaway. I just want to see him get a little bit more snap on the field action. Last week, we saw Gavin Freeman sort of be excommunicated from actual offensive performance. And if they want to just slide that in there, that would work for me. But otherwise, what we saw last week, especially getting Stogner a little bit more involved, just like a lot of what we saw.
Has anybody heard, is Stogner going to be good to go? I know we've all been international, so like who of us have been able to really know, right? But let us know down below in the comments if you heard anything. We've been off the grid, but I'll try to get that information for us real quick. Pat, what do you see, man?
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, we fully understand who our key players are on the offense, and we need to utilize them to the maximum. That's Nick Anderson catching touchdown passes. That's Stoops catching 5 to 7 yard passes. That's Farouk getting involved however he can, because he's always good when he touches the ball. That's Gavin punching the ball down their throats in the run game, and Dylan making focused, really good plays and protecting the football. So I'm hoping just that all comes together on Saturday, and we really see a unified offense that is consistent on every single drive.
One thing real fast.
Yeah,
just got to talk about how well Caden Green's playing. Got to talk about how well Jacob Sexton played in relief of the homie Tyler Guyton last week. If it comes down to needing those guys to continue to step up, I trust them to do that, and that is super cool. One little note, I think we lose McCade Matower for the second half, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or for the first half. So be interesting to see who steps up in that spot. I mean, probably going to be Savion Byrd or Troy Everett, one of the rotating pieces. But if you can survive that first half offensively, you should be able to roll in the second half.
Yeah, from what I see, Austin Stogner is going to be good to go. I know he got banged up last week, but from what I can tell, he should be good to go. So he'll be a part of the game plan. Pat, anything else to add on the offensive side of the ball?
Just want us to bully them physically and in the run game specifically.
Yeah. And this is something to watch as well. BYU's passing defense, not great as well. Dylan, Mark, I mentioned it at the top of the show before you came on. Uncharacteristic with some like underthrows and some inaccuracies at the beginning of the game before kind of settling in and figuring it out. I think it's going to be important for him to, from the jump, get in rhythm with some throws and try to get a feel of the game early to build off of that as well. So that's something to watch for. But yeah, Patrick, I love your point about Nick Anderson. Keep on feeding the dude. He started off hot last week. Let's keep it going. And yeah, Drake Stoops, for whatever reason, the 5'10" dude is like all of a sudden a massive red zone threat. And why not? Like if he's going to get open in the red zone, then give the guy a shot, because he can catch in traffic, he can catch in space, he can somehow get over the top of guys and get touchdown catches. So yeah, I agree. Use Drake Stoops in the red zone when you can. Mark, anything else on the offense before we move on? Cool. I
Turns
love
out
it.
we were all wrong. We were all wrong about a receiving core led by Drake Stoops.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
I don't think we were wrong. I don't think we were wrong, but we
I
don't need
don't
to get
think
into it.
yeah, it's all right. Let us know down below in the comments if you think we were wrong and you want Mason to eat crow, because he was the one who said that Drake Stoops couldn't be your best receiver if this team was going to be a playoff team. Currently correct though, if we're going to be, honest about it. So the OU defense against the BYU offense, BYU second, no, I think they're dead last in total offensive production in the Big 12. Let me confirm that. They are 300 yards a game for BYU. Oklahoma comes in with the 6th ranked defense in the Big 12, 377 yards a game allowed by OU. I think this is where the game's won right here, because I don't think BYU has the horses to score more than I don't think they can score more than 20 points, and you're going to need to score more than 30 to even be in the game. So this is where you win the game and you separate yourselves here. Like last week we saw, Patrick, right? We just talked about at the beginning of the show, from that opening drive where West Virginia scored, and ever since then, the defense was immaculate. They were locked in. They knew what they were doing. The linebacking core looked great, led by Danny once again. The Kip Lewis train was so much fun to watch. The pass rush was good. They started to figure it out, right? So just get on that same path again. Danny Stutzman, when he is in the middle, this is a completely different defense. They're locked in. People know where they're supposed to go, and it helps in so many aspects, mentally, physically, all of that stuff. So Danny going to be playing again. I expect this defense to show out and show why they're this good, and why, Mark, I said to Patrick before you came on, it's the best defense that we've seen in Oklahoma in probably 10 years, in my opinion. Like I don't recall seeing a defense this good. And I mean, I got to college in 2011, and I don't even know if they were even this good back then, truly. But I can't confirm. But yeah, anybody thoughts on the Oklahoma defense versus BYU offense?
Yeah, one thing, 5 dudes had more than 50 snaps last week. Woody Washington, easy. Kanai Walker starting at corner in place of Gentry Williams. Okay, makes sense. Kendall Dolby really solidifying that, I'm the cheetah or
Yep.
I'm the nickel, right? Like whatever you need, I'm going to be the person playing that. Billy Bowman, obvious. And then Kip Lewis.
Wow.
Sorry, Danny Stutzman also. Danny Stutzman. So
Yeah,
6
yeah.
guys. My mistake on that. But Danny plays 57. Kip Lewis plays 52. Jaron Canick gets 21 snaps in that same game.
Man,
I don't imagine that's something that's going to be a week-to-week deal. I think they have figured out their 1-2, and Jaron's going to be depth. Kobe McKenzie might be some depth. Up front, we are rotating that defensive line in ways that I really like. Ethan Downs, Rondell Bothroyd get the most snaps up front at 33 and 34. And then everyone else is just, rotating in behind them. I really like to see the group that we're kind of zeroing in on there. And I guess we don't know about Gentry Williams, or I don't know about Gentry Williams at least.
I don't either.
Been off the grid. One thing we've been on forever and ever is let's get more Peyton Bowen. We saw flashes earlier than the year. I know that he's hurt. I know he's not been healthy, but the defense is more dynamic when you have a player on the field like him. Even if he's a freshman, he might be your most talented guy if you take Danny out of the equation. So just some general thoughts I have on sort of the defense and what it looks like. Patrick, what you got?
Yeah, I think we should be seeing some turnovers this game. The quarterback play has been inaccurate in the air, and I really hope that we see a lot of passes knocked down or interceptions that really change the game for OU. And I'm anticipating that. You guys talked about it a bit in the post game, the pressure to the quarterback, how it's been just okay. It's been good at times. It's been not good at times. It's bend, don't break mentality. but I really think that BYU does not have the horses that we do on the line, and we should be able to physically dominate this game and get a lot of good pressure to the quarterback. So I'm really hoping to see that as well. But yeah, I think the defense is playing great. There's like, I almost have no notes on them because they make me so happy all the time.
I'm happy
And
you're happy.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I think you're right about the being able to push them around up front, Pat. This is a big game for DeJohn Terry, for Trace Ford, for PJ Adebawore, for I already said Trace Ford, and Ethan Downs. You know, it's a big morning for them because they have the opportunity to just physically dominate from the get-go and put in the type of performance that'll make opposing teams look at this OU team and be like, oh, damn, I don't really know if I want to play them in December and January. Like, they're kind of peaking at the right time. So you definitely have the chance to go out there and dominate and turn a few heads for sure.
It's so funny how it seems like we'll have two sort of like we'll have a real peak in that Texas game range and then a real crevice and then another rise so long as they finish the season out well. Just a weird stretch of games. Weird stretch of games.
Very, very weird. Let us know down below in the comments what you think of the OU offense and defense, how you think they match up against this BYU team. We read every single one of your comments, and we'd love to give you a shout out on the next show for our commenter of the week. Boys, anything else on the preview front before we get to some game picks, game predictions?
Yeah,
I should say.
Yeah, one more thing from me. This episode is sponsored by thefanstop.com. Go to the link in our description or in the comments right now and use our promo code PGUYZ. That's P guys for 15% off their Shirt of the Month Club for the first 3 months. These are officially licensed t-shirts. They're awesome. They look cool. They come to your door every single month. Or if you need a new Oklahoma game day polo, you got it too. 15% off using our promo code PGUYZ for their game day polos as well. They have over 200 schools or so. So your school's most likely there if you're a BYU fan right now, or if you're just a Big 12 fan in general. That's what I got before we get into predictions.
Love that. Also, before we get to predictions, I want to mention shout out to our friend Steve Tyson on the beach, was rocking the Program Guys shirt. Shout out to Steve. We appreciate you. Also, Tim Eubanks in Tulsa, Oklahoma, watching the game, rocking the Program Guys shirt. If you guys are wearing our shirt that you got from us and you're watching the game, or anytime you are wearing it, just send us a pic. We'd love to give you a shout out. We appreciate the support, you guys, more than you know. Okay, game picks. Patrick, I want to start with you, man. What's your score prediction for the game?
Yeah, part of me feels like this could be a really tough game for Oklahoma because BYU can get up for big games and big teams. We saw that early in their season, but I just think, like I mentioned earlier, they don't have the horses. They're not going to be as physical as us. So I've got Oklahoma winning this game 48-17.
48-17, says Patrick. Mark, you want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. So I think this is a game that OU can really, really dominate. And I think it's a game that they dominate from the jump because, like I said earlier, this team is starting to get the mentality. They know what's ahead of them. They know what they have to do. And they're going to go out there and they're going to leave no doubt. I think this OU team is going to win 48. I'm trying to remember what I came up with earlier. 48-13. I think they win this game. I think the defense dominates once again, and it's not even close. So give me 48-13 Oklahoma. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, give me 45-10. I think the offense keeps churning, and I don't think the defense lets up anything. This is only the second time in the last 20 years that the BYU Cougars have had to play a 10 a.m. kickoff at their stadium. And sorry, guys. To Patrick's point earlier, to Mason's point earlier, this is some shit that we're built for. This is 11 a.m. in our heads, and we are always ready for that. So it's going to be same old in just a very, very different, pretty environment. Not going to be too much else. We've got the horses, we've got the mentality, we've got the strength for it. I think that OU rolls.
And look, if you're a BYU fan and you're tuning into this just to get some opposing viewpoints from another team, I'm here to tell you, this isn't the last 10 a.m. game that you're going to play under Brett Yormark and company. Let me tell you right now. I know it's only the second, and you're like, golly gee bum, I hope we don't have to play any more of these. You're gonna.
This and Friday nights, baby. That's your future.
That's your future. Yeah. So thank God we're getting out of this godforsaken conference. Good for you though, BYU. Good for you. But I'm glad we're out. Okay. Anything else, boys, before we get to PGP MVPs of the week?
No, man.
We need to do this though. Sorry, we need to do this real quick. Jim Harbaugh accepting the Big Ten's 3-game suspension today. Mark, I don't know if you saw that or not. So Jim Harbaugh accepting the 3-game suspension, which I think counts for his game last week. So really, he only has 2 more. And that's the Ohio State game and what else? I don't know their schedule. I'll look it up. But Patrick, your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense, like just to stop the drama of it, less of a distraction if he just says I'm out and the team knows that, he knows that. I don't know, man. Mark, what do you got on it?
Absolute goober. They tried to lawyer up, and the Big Ten said, "Bet, let's go to Discovery. Let's see everything you have. Let's have all of these texts. Let's have all the communication. Let's look at it." And Michigan said, "You're right. We'll take this piddling little punishment for the most involved cheating scandal of the last decade in college football." Easy win for Michigan. Easy win for Michigan. I hope the NCAA finds some way to punish him when he's coaching like Ryan's Vikings next year or something.
Yeah,
like it's ridiculous. He's gonna escape it all.
Oh yeah, dude. He's literally gonna go to the NFL like after this year. It's not even real.
Make the playoff and then bail.
Yeah. They're playing Maryland this week, and then they're playing Ohio State next week. So that's Michigan's schedule. I echo everything that Mark said. It was 100% a pissing contest between the Big Ten and Michigan backing down immediately as they knew that they're going to have to give up some hard stone cold facts and just completely backing down. Like, it's absolutely hysterical. It's so transparent to me, transparent to everybody, that Michigan knows that they messed up and the Big Ten is letting them off with a slap on the wrist, and it's not even going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Because you know what's going to happen? The Michigan players and the interim coaches are going to use this as a dumb, stupid rallying cry and win 2 games and go to the playoff and then lose in the first round. That's what's going to happen. And
well, the real crappy thing is we're just all hoping that Ohio State takes care of things, right?
I know, yeah.
Like, that's all we have. So frustrating.
Yeah, it's nuts. Also in college football news, we'll get to this real quick. Jimbo Fisher out at Texas A&M, $75 million buyout. Insane. It's so much money. And there was rumors that Texas A&M is going to have to also buy out some of the assistants that should exceed $100 million. That's crazy. And now there's an opening at Texas A&M. There's rumors swirling about Dabo Swinney, Dan Lanning, Lincoln Riley, of course, which, like, no shot. There's other
Lance Leipold, freaking Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions because he played at A&M. Whole bunch of people. Mike Elko at Duke. I don't feel good about any of them in College Station, man. None of those names feel great. Patrick, what do you think, man?
Oh, Dabo Swinney feels great at Texas A&M. He would be
it feels like such a goofy matchup made in heaven, right? Yeah. It just does. It feels like Dabo would go in there and be like, "You guys are cringy, I'm cringy. Let's be cringy together and make everybody shut up."
The first thing Dabo Sweeney would do is triple the amount of yell leaders that get to be on the field every game.
That's pretty great, man. That's pretty. Oh yeah, he definitely would.
Yeah.
He'd join them. Are you kidding me? Oh, he'd join them.
It's like third quarter. I'm with the yell leaders.
Oh, dude, he'd do the dumb, stupid jokes on Friday nights for the midnight yell. He did. Oh my God, wear the dumb overalls and everything. Be so funny.
This might be right, actually. Yeah, that's one that's pretty good.
I think me and Patrick just convinced Mark that Dabo Sweeney's taking the job.
It's just so weird to me that you would go from Florida State's Jimbo Fisher to Clemson's Dabo Sweeney, and
yeah,
and I don't think they'd have the same success, but he would fit it like a glove culturally.
Oh yeah. Let us know down below in the comments what you think of the Dabo, or not the Dabo, of the Texas A&M developments as well as the Michigan ones. Yeah, Mark.
If we have any Aggie listeners, let us know who you want. Let us know where we're wrong.
Yeah. Let us know who you want. All right. PGP MVP of the week time. Patrick, we'll start with you, man.
Yeah, mine is Drake Stoops, not just for his game last week, but also for having the most receiving catches in the Big 12 currently. We say this a lot. Drake Stoops can catch the ball like no one else can catch the ball. He is a sure thing, and I love when he's on the field for us, and I love that he is our go-to guy.
My PGP MVP of the week, Southwest Airlines. Airline companies get a lot of crap, and I was delayed leaving the Dominican Republic yesterday for an hour and a half because the power just went out at the airport. Just because, like, that's what happens, right? Like, sometimes just the power goes out. And so they didn't have internet. So our flight was delayed for an hour and a half. And then, long story short, me and my wife are off the plane and we're waiting in customs to go through to get into, like, the United States again from Florida. And we're there and we have like 20 minutes until our flight takes off. And we finally get through with like 10 minutes remaining. We're sprinting to the plane. And these Southwest Angels are just like telling us to go. And they're like, give us your bags. They ask what flight we're on. And they're like, okay, got it. And just like somehow they got on the plane. Our bags were on the plane when we landed in Dallas.
Wow.
Like, and the plane, flight attendants and the captains knew that there was like a lot of stuff going on at customs. So they delayed it for a little bit, made sure everybody could get on the flight. Like, that was super cool. Airline companies get a lot of grief, as they rightfully should, but they should also get some credit when they do some stuff right. So shout out to them.
Love it. I'll go with a second MVP real quick before Mark goes, and that is the sponsor of this podcast, fanstop.com. Remember to go to their website right now and use our promo code PGUIZ for 15% off their Share of the Month Club for your first 3 months. Awesome t-shirts come to your door every single month, guys. They have so many schools. Your school is there. Or 15% off their game day polos if you need a new collegiate game day polo officially licensed as well. Mark, who's your MVP of the week?
Yeah, I got 2 this week. It's Steve and Elizabeth Tyson, man.
Oh,
if you're a listener here, you probably know we were out of the country for Ryan's wedding, and Ryan's not him without Steve and Elizabeth, and they hosted us on the day of the wedding for the entire time. They were really wonderful, and they're program parents as much as any of ours are. So my MVPs, Steve and Elizabeth. Love you guys.
Also, obvious MVPs, the new Ryan Tyson and Megan Tyson. So we love you guys. We're excited for you. We're happy for you. Matt Gann, we miss you. We'll see you for the post-game pod on Saturday, people, or Sunday, whichever day. We never know, right? We'll figure it out. Oklahoma, BYU, 11 a.m. kick Central Time, 10 a.m. out on Mountain Time in Provo. Sooners trying to improve to 9-2. And we will see you for the post-game pod. That's going to do it. Pat, take us out, man.
Keep pushing it, baby.
3, 2, 1, go!
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.